Normally start with you on a certain club from Manchester. How is that going?
Well, we had the hearing. The hearing took place over a period of around about 10 weeks. We reckon there's probably about 500,000 pieces of evidence that were presented by both the prosecution and the defence. The hearing finished in the second week of December, so we're now 14 months with silence. So, by the cases similar to a fraud case, I think we're probably into the final reaches of getting a decision. I think part of the challenge has been that because there's three very senior people who are on the court who are making that final judgment, getting those three together at the same time is actually very difficult. So that's delayed the case. It should be result in the next few months, but we said this before. Pep was saying in last February that he was expecting something. There's an awful lot of evidence to go through, and the charges are very, very serious. So you've got to have enough evidence.
I think most people are sort of, are telling for you to want it done before the end of the season. Because there's been talk of City, if they were found guilty, that they could maybe be relegated for argument's sake. Does that come into it in terms of when they actually get to the end of their decision? Because if this happened, once the season had started, how difficult is it then, or the season hasn't finished? Would something like that come into play?
No. The people on the commission, they are completely independent of football. So they are operating in their own little bubble. I absolutely agree. If it comes out the week before the end of the season, it would be catastrophic in many ways. From what I understand, both the Premier League and Manchester City will probably be given 24 hours notice of the verdict to allow their lawyers to go away and just check the small print of it. But then it could be at any point in time. It could be on the day of the World Cup final, for all we know. The Premier League are completely out of this because they simply asked the commission to take place, and they have no involvement at all.
Listen, everybody speculates. We wind Luke up on the show every time he comes on, but the longer this goes on, what does that make you feel about where this could actually go?
Well, we've got well over 100 charges. We've got well over 115 charges when you actually go through the small print. So what happens if it's 70-50 in terms of favour of the Premier League or favour of Manchester City? Certainly when we had Manchester City themselves effectively charge the Premier League with these associated party transaction rules, both the Premier League and the club were claiming it as a victory. So trying to sort of sift that into some form of logic is going to be challenging. If, for example, if Manchester City are found guilty of non-cooperation, which I think is fairly likely as far as their relationship with the Premier League is concerned, they're likely to get a significant fine, because that's what we saw happen with UEFA and the deductions there. If it's a points deduction, I think the Premier League will claim it as a victory. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Luke, what's the, listen, Man City, the success that you've had, you winning the treble, 4 in a row, all this type of stuff. If it was to come down the wrong way for you in terms of, guilty, would that sort of tarnish any of that for you? You've still got your memories, you've still been to those games. Would it? You sat there thinking, oh, please, I really hope that we're sort of not guilty.
It's not going to undo any of it for me. Do you know what I mean? I don't think any fan, you can go back in time and take me out of that stadium. Do you know what I mean? But I think every City fan will probably agree. We're just bored. I'm just utterly bored of it. It's just dragged on that long.
Was it not you dragging it on?
Well, Pep said when the charges came out, Pep said straight away, City have been condemned, or all the talk of it, we've been condemned before we've even had a result this hearing and stuff like you're saying. There's no announcement on that made. So as far as we're concerned, we're just bored of all the talk of it, to be honest. I think a lot of other fans will just be
could have been over ages.
Anticipating what's going to go on with it. It's just dragged on so long, hasn't it? So yeah.
Wayne, I think some of the charges go back to when you were playing, weren't you? When you were going for a title with City. I think that I've got that right, haven't I? So what I'm saying is, would you look back at City as a team? You come up against them probably when this all started. The charges go back to. Would you look and go, oh, they cheated us out of a title or things? Or would you just look at it and think, no, that was 11v11 on a football?
Yeah, no. See, I actually feel for the players, for the City players. If they're guilty of doing it, then they deserve to be punished. But it's not the players who are guilty. So I feel for the players. So in terms of when City won the league. Last day of the season, and we didn't. It's not something where I'd say, oh, I want to get that Premier League medal, because they've cheated the way to her. It'd be more, I hope they get the punishment now, which they deserve for doing that. It's not the players' fault, so that's what I look at it. I'm not really too fussed on, when I was a player, what was going on above and what they were doing, but them players won the Premier League title for their performances on the pitch, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, okay.